You know, there's this really pervasive myth in the startup world, and honestly, even in established corporate circles.
Oh, yeah. The one big win.
Right. It's like we're all collectively obsessed with it. That lightning in a bottle moment.
The viral marketing campaign that just, magically solves all your revenue problems overnight.
Exactly.
Oh.
Or the single product launch that turns a struggling quarter into a record year. I mean, it's the business equivalent of buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
We're just so obsessed with the idea of instant magical transformation.
Well, it's human nature, isn't it? I mean, we want the magic beans from the fairy tale.
Yeah.
We want to wake up the next morning and find this massive beanstalk that reaches the clouds, but we don't actually want to do any gardening.
Right. But today, we're really going to dismantle that mindset. We are doing a deep dive into an article from Stella Pop. It's titled, Why Golden Eggs Aren't Just for Fairy Tales.
It's a great piece.
It really is. And the core argument here is fascinating because it argues that golden eggs, meaning those sources of massive sustainable value, are actually real.
Very real. They don't work the way the stories say they do.
No, they don't.
They aren't magic, and they certainly aren't luck, and I think that's the pivot point of this whole discussion. If you're out there waiting for luck, you're not running a business.
You're gambling.
Exactly. You're gambling. The Stella Pop piece frames these golden eggs not as windfalls, but as engineered systems.
Engineered systems. I really like that framing. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how to stop waiting for a giant to fall asleep so we can steal his goose.
Right.
And instead, learn how to actually build a real-world beanstalk. We're talking about building sustainable, repeatable growth infrastructure.
Spot on. We need to move from what I like to call a hunter mindset, where you're always looking for the next big kill, to a cultivator mindset.
Yeah.
Which, is definitely less exciting in the movies, but it is infinitely more profitable on your balance sheet.
So true. Let's start with some definitions, though, because in the corporate world, buzzwords just get thrown around until they lose absolutely all meaning.
Oh, totally.
When Stella Pop refers to a golden egg, they aren't talking about, say, a record-breaking Q4, are they?
No, and that is a crucial distinction to make right up front. A big pile of cash from a one-off event, like, say, selling a prime piece of real estate or winning some lucky patent lawsuit.
Right.
That's just capital. It's static. A golden egg, in this context, is a dynamic asset. It's an element of your company that continuously generates value.
Continuously. So continuity is the key variable here.
Repeatability and scalability. Think of it this way. Finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk, that's luck.
Yeah.
Owning the printing press, that is a golden egg. It's a high-impact strategy or a system that drives revenue over and over again without requiring you to reinvent the wheel every single morning. It's the engine, not the fuel.
That makes total sense. It's the difference between a one-off transaction and an actual business plan. The source material breaks this down into 4 concrete archetypes. And I want to go through these with you, but let's try to get specific because value can be a bit of a vague term. The first one they list is the UVP, the unique value proposition.
Right. And look, I know this sounds like Business 101, but you'd be shocked how many companies fail the stress test right here. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because your UVP isn't your marketing slogan. It's not "we try harder" or "customer first." It is the specific, undeniable operational reality that makes it actively painful for your customer to leave you for the competition.
Painful to leave. That is a brutal but great way to frame it.
Yeah.
So it's not just, hey, we have really good service.
No, good service is table stakes. Everyone claims they have good service. A golden egg UVP is something more like, we are the only provider integrated into your existing supply chain software so deeply that switching to our competitor would cost you 6 months of lost productivity.
Wow. Yeah.
That is a goose-laying golden eggs. It anchors the customer to you. It creates a massive moat.
Which bleeds perfectly into the second example from the article, which is customer loyalty. They actually call loyal customers geese that keep laying eggs.
Which is a bit of a funny visual.
It is. But the economics behind it are dead serious.
The economics are absolutely undeniable. I mean, we all know the old adage that acquiring a new customer costs, 5 times more than retaining an old one?
Yep, 5 to 7 times, depending on the industry.
Right. But the golden egg aspect of loyalty isn't just about retention. It's about expansion. A truly loyal customer base doesn't just quietly pay the bills every month. They act as your unpaid marketing team.
They advocate for you.
Exactly. They defend your brand in public forums. They forgive your occasional missteps. That kind of resilience, that's the gold.
It's the difference between managing a transaction and nurturing a relationship.
Precisely. Because if you have to pay for every single pair of eyeballs on your product.
Like if you're just addicted to paid ads to keep the lights on.
Yes. If you're addicted to ad spend, your business model is inherently fragile. But if your customers bring their friends, you have a self-sustaining engine. That organic word-of-mouth growth is a golden egg.
Okay, now the third example Stella Pop gives is innovative products or services. And honestly, this feels a bit obvious at first glance, like, of course new products make money, but I assume they mean something more specific than just launching an update.
Much more specific. They're talking about game changers.
Okay.
It's the difference between an incremental update, like changing the color of your packaging or adding a minor software feature, and solving a customer problem in a way that renders the old solution completely obsolete.
Like streaming services killing the physical video rental store.
Exactly that.
Right.
Netflix wasn't just a better blockbuster. It was a fundamentally different way of consuming media.
Right.
If your innovation fundamentally shifts the market dynamics in your favor, you've found a golden egg. But, and here's the trap that catches a lot of founders. Innovation has a half-life.
A half-life? What do you mean by that?
What is highly innovative today becomes the industry standard tomorrow. So this specific egg requires constant incubation. You can't just lay it, declare victory, and walk away.
Because competitors will catch up.
Always. They will reverse engineer your innovation, and suddenly your golden egg is just a regular egg again.
We'll definitely get to that maintenance part a bit later because that seems to be where most companies really drop the ball. But let's hit the fourth and final example first, which is strong branding.
The intangible asset.
Yeah, the hardest one to measure.
It is hard to measure, but a strong brand essentially reduces friction across the board. When you have a golden egg brand, you don't have to convince people to trust you every single time they interact with you.
The trust is already there. It's preloaded.
Exactly, preloaded trust. And mechanically, that translates into shorter sales cycles, much higher margins, and frankly, better talent acquisition. People want to work for a winner.
It's like the Apple tax. You pay significantly more for a laptop because the brand itself provides perceived value beyond just the hardware specs.
Correct. In that case, the brand is the value proposition. If you put a little swoosh logo on a plain white t-shirt, the retail value triples instantly.
It really does.
That margin, that extra $20 you charge just for the logo, that's the gold.
Okay, so we know what we're looking for now. Sticky UVPs, rabid customer loyalty, market-shifting innovation, and friction-reducing branding. But here is the very real problem for most of you listening. Most companies are just busy. They are deep in the weeds of daily operations. They don't have a magical giant pointing a finger saying, hey, the gold is right over there.
No, they don't. And the tragedy is that most companies are sitting on top of gold mines, but they're treating them like coal mines.
That's a great way to put it.
They don't actually know where their real value is coming from. They're too busy digging frantically to stop and look at what they're actually excavating.
So how do we find it? The Stella Pop article outlines what they call a 4-step treasure hunt.
Right.
Step 1 is analyze your data. And I have to play devil's advocate here for a second because everyone says, look at the data. It's basically the most generic advice in modern business. What are we actually looking for?
You are looking for anomalies.
Anomalies.
Yes. You aren't just looking at top-line revenue to see if the line is going up or down. You need to look deeply at the margins and the effort required to get that revenue.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure. You might do an analysis and find that 80% of your revenue comes from just 20% of your clients. That's the classic Pareto principle.
Right.
Or, even more interestingly, you might find that a really boring, unsexy legacy service you offer has a 95% retention rate, while your flashy new flagship product that you just spent millions marketing has a massive churn rate.
Oh, wow. So the golden egg might actually be that boring old service contract, not the cool new widget.
Very often it is. The data strips away the internal corporate narrative. You might think you're a cutting-edge software company, but the hard data might show you're actually a consulting firm that just happens to use software. You have to follow the profit, not the passion.
Man, that requires a lot of ego death for a founder. Admitting that the thing you love, the thing you built the company to do, isn't actually the thing that pays the bills.
It does require ego death. But at the end of the day, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich?
Fair point.
The data tells you the unvarnished truth about what the market actually desires from you.
Okay, so step 2 of the treasure hunt is listen to your audience. And again, this sounds like slightly generic advice. Every company has a we value your feedback survey. How do you do this in a way that actually reveals a hidden asset?
You don't listen to their feature requests. You listen for the hacks.
The hacks? What does that mean?
Yes. Listen to how your customers are using your product in ways you completely didn't intend.
Oh, I love that.
Are they using your basic project management tool as a full-blown CRM? Are they buying your artisan coffee beans for the taste, or are they buying from you because your mobile app makes pre-ordering faster than the shop down the street?
I see. So if they love the app's speed, then your speed is the golden egg, not the roasting profile of the beans.
Exactly. If you realize your core value is transaction speed, you stop obsessing over sourcing beans from Guatemala and you start obsessing over your interface latency. You double down on what they actually value, not what you think you're selling.
That's a huge paradigm shift.
That's how you find the gold. You look for the disconnect between what you sold them and what they actually bought.
That is such a great pivot. Okay, step 3 is audit your operations. This one feels a bit drier to me. We're looking entirely inward now.
It is drier, I'll give you that, but it's where the margin lives. You are looking for operational excellence. Is there a specific part of your business that just runs smoother than everything else?
Like a department that never seems to have any fires to put out.
Right. Maybe your logistics and shipping team has a 0 error rate, while the rest of the industry struggles with delays. Or maybe your customer support team resolves issues in half the industry average time.
And those operational strengths can be productized. Like you can sell that.
Sometimes you can productize them, yes.
Yeah.
Think of Amazon Web Services. It started as an internal operational strength and became their biggest profit driver.
Right.
But even if you don't sell it directly, it can simply be the moat that protects your core business. If your internal operations are so highly efficient that you can undercut competitors on price while still maintaining your margin, that operational efficiency is a massive golden egg.
Because no one can touch your pricing without going out of business.
Exactly. For Amazon's retail side, their logistics is the product. The digital storefront is just the front end.
Okay, step 4 is the one Stella Pop calls counterintuitive. Explore new markets.
This is the growth part of the beanstalk.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have just squeezed the lemon dry in your current market. You have a verified golden egg, say a really great piece of scheduling software designed specifically for dentists. The data shows it works, the operational margins are great, customers love it.
But there are only so many dental practices in the country.
Right. You hit a ceiling, so you take that exact same engine and you point it at veterinarians.
Wow.
You take the system, the proven repeatable value, and you transpose it to a completely new context. The golden egg here isn't the specific customer, it's the underlying solution you've built.
So taking it to a new market is basically the fastest way to scale without having to reinvent the core product. You're just changing the address on the marketing materials.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's assume for a second that we've done the audit, we did the treasure hunt, we found the egg.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a killer loyalty program, or a hyper-efficient logistics chain, or an unintended software feature.
Yeah.
The instinct, what I call the Jack instinct from the fairy tale, is to grab the gold and run.
Which is the cash cow mentality. Milk it completely dry until it dies.
Right.
That's the classic private equity playbook, right? Strip the assets. But it is not how you build long-term value.
Which is why Stella Pop strongly argues for cultivation. We need to keep the goose alive and healthy. They suggest 3 specific strategies here. The first is invest in quality. Now, this seems to be a direct warning against the efficiency trap we were just discussing.
It is a massive warning. There is a very dangerous curve in business. You find something that really works, you scale it up, and then the finance department comes in and says, great job. Now, how can we deliver this exact same thing for 10% less?
Can we use slightly cheaper materials in the manufacturing? Can we outsource that amazing support team to a cheaper time zone?
Yes. And the insidious thing is, at first you can.
And profits go up.
Profits jump. It looks like you're winning. The spreadsheet looks amazing. But you are slowly strangling the goose. If your golden egg was your premium quality, and you slowly value engineer the quality out of the product to save a few pennies, you have turned your golden egg into a regular egg.
And eventually into a rotten egg.
Exactly. Customers notice. It might take a quarter or two, but they notice. You have to protect the integrity of the asset above all else. If high-touch service is your moneymaker, you cannot automate it with a cheap chatbot to save money. You have to invest more in it, not less. You have to feed the goose premium feed if you expect it to lay gold.
The second maintenance strategy is prioritize innovation. And the quote from the article here is just great. What's shiny today may tarnish tomorrow.
This addresses the competitor variable we touched on earlier. You might have the absolute best product on the market today, but right now, in a garage somewhere, a couple of kids are building something faster and cheaper. If you stand still to admire your egg, you are effectively moving backward.
So you have to be willing to cannibalize your own products.
You absolutely have to be. If you don't eat your own lunch, someone else is going to eat it for you.
Yeah.
Cultivating the goose means you're doing genetic engineering. You need to be constantly upgrading the DNA of your offer. The iPhone is a classic golden egg, but only because they release a fundamentally better one every single year.
Right. If they were still selling the iPhone 4 today, Apple would be completely dead.
Dead in the water. You have to kill your darlings before someone else murders them.
That's a stark way to put it, but incredibly accurate. The third cultivation strategy is build resilience. This seems to be the diversification argument.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's a cliche because it's entirely true. If your entire company relies on one massive enterprise client or one core product or one specific social media marketing channel, you are incredibly fragile.
You are one algorithm change away from bankruptcy.
Terrifyingly fragile. We saw this with all those direct-to-consumer companies that built their whole business model on cheap Facebook ads.
Oh yeah, the iOS privacy update happened, the rules changed, and poof, they vanished overnight.
Exactly. The goal of your first golden egg should be to fund the discovery of your second golden egg.
I love that.
You use the massive cash flow from your current win to bankroll the R&D for the next win. That is how you build an empire that lasts. Rather than just running a successful short-term campaign, you build a basket full of eggs.
Okay, so we have the mindset down. We know how to identify the assets, and we know how to maintain them. Now let's talk about real-world execution. The article wraps up with the Stella Pop growth formula. It breaks down into 4 pillars of action.
Right, because theory without execution is just hallucination. You need a practical roadmap.
Pillar 1 is creative strategy sessions. Now, I have to be honest, I have sat in a lot of corporate strategy sessions that were just people eating stale bagels and staring at endless PowerPoint slides. How do you make this actually useful?
You have to get the leadership team out of the day-to-day operations. You cannot strategize effectively while you are actively putting out fires. These sessions need to be hyper-focused on the why and the what if, not the logistics of the how. It's about creating a psychologically safe space for your team to completely challenge core assumptions.
Like, why do we actually do it this way?
Yes, or what if we stopped selling our most popular product tomorrow? You need to be willing to break things conceptually in the boardroom so they don't break catastrophically in the real market.
It's about intentional disruption. Okay. Pillar 2 is brand development. The article says you need to craft a brand that shines like gold.
This goes back to the concept of the wrapper. You can have a legitimate golden egg product, but if you wrap it in yesterday's newspaper, people will treat it like cheap fish and chips.
Yeah.
You need to signal value subconsciously. Your branding, meaning your visuals, your tone of voice, every single customer interaction needs to perfectly match the high value of the underlying asset.
Because incongruence destroys trust.
Exactly. If you are selling a premium B2B consulting service for 6 figures, your website simply cannot look like it was built on a free template in 2012. The brand has to carry the weight of the price tag.
Pillar 3 is market expansion plans. We touch on this with the dentist to veterinarian example, but this is the formalized plan for climbing that beanstalk.
It's about rigorous, structured testing. You don't just bet the entire farm on a new market based on a hunch. You send out scouts. You run small pilots.
Calculated aggression.
Exactly. Calculated aggression. You verify that the golden egg actually works in the new environment before you move all your resources over.
And finally, Pillar 4, growth hacking. I feel like this term gets a really bad rap sometimes. It sounds like a cheap cheat code.
It really does. People hear growth hacking and they think of spam emails or shady SEO tricks. But in this context, and specifically within the Stella Pop framework, it means high-velocity testing.
High-velocity testing. Explain that a bit more.
It means using your digital tools and your data to test new ideas incredibly rapidly. So instead of sitting in a room planning one massive marketing campaign for 6 months.
Hoping it works.
Right, hoping it hits. Instead of that, you run 10 tiny micro-campaigns in 2 weeks. You see immediately which one converts, you kill the losers, and you pour gasoline on the winner. It's about maximizing your ROI through extreme agility. It's applying the scientific method directly to revenue growth.
So if I zoom out and look at this whole picture, the main takeaway here, the so what, really seems to be about agency.
Agency, that's the perfect word for it.
Because the fairy tale of Jack the Beanstalk is fundamentally about a kid who just gets lucky. He trades a cow for some magic beans, magic happens to him, he climbs up, steals a goose, and lives happily ever after without really earning it. But the business version, the real-world version we're talking about today, is about actively removing luck from the equation entirely.
It's about recognizing that you don't need magic beans. You already have data. You already have customers. You have operations. The raw components of the golden goose are currently sitting inside your building. You just haven't assembled them correctly yet.
It really empowers the listener. I mean, you aren't waiting for a savior. You aren't waiting for the macroeconomic market to magically turn in your favor. You can go into your own spreadsheets, dig into your own customer support tickets, and find the gold yourself.
And once you find it, you have the profound responsibility to protect it, to nurture it, to not get incredibly greedy and kill it just to hit a quick quarterly bonus target. It is a discipline.
Yeah.
It takes immense patience to be a farmer rather than a hunter. But farmers eat every single day. Hunters only eat when they happen to get lucky.
That is a fantastic analogy to land on. So let's wrap this up with a quick recap for everyone listening.
Sure. First takeaway, golden eggs are real. They aren't myths. They are the engineered systems in your business. Your unique value prop, your customer loyalty, your continuous innovation, your brand that generate repeatable, scalable value.
Second takeaway, you find them by ignoring your gut feelings and looking hard at the data. Look for the anomalies. Look for where your customers are hacking your product to solve their own problems. Find the disconnect between what you think you sell and what they actually buy.
Third, when you do find a golden egg, treat it like a living, breathing thing. Invest heavily in quality, keep innovating so the gold doesn't tarnish, and use its success to fund diversification. Do not let short-term efficiency metrics kill your long-term quality.
And finally, the fourth takeaway, execute. Use creative strategy sessions, elevate your brand wrapper, and use rapid high-velocity testing to scale that value up the beanstalk. Don't just sit on the egg, actively hatch it.
That's the entire playbook right there.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with today. We've talked a lot about systems and products as golden eggs. But what if the ultimate golden egg isn't a product at all? What if it's the culture of your team?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. Because systems don't build themselves. If you look at your company right now, are you incubating an environment where your team feels safe enough to experiment, to fail, and to find those hidden anomalies? Or are you so focused on the daily output that you're starving the very people who could build your beanstalk?
That is a great question. The culture is the soil that the beanstalk grows in. If the soil is toxic, it doesn't matter how good the seeds are.
Exactly. Something to mull over this week as you look at your own operations. Stop waiting for the magic beans. Go build a farm.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.